wide. You got to really pinpoint the shots with David. I don't know if Morell has that in him.
In this fight, given that Morell hasn't been in the type of fights that David's been.
American professional boxer Demetrius Andrade, during an interview with Fight Hub TV, shared his thoughts on David Morell. While Andrade admitted he has not seen many of Morell's fights, he observed that the bouts he has watched suggest Morell is a decent fighter with respectable speed. Praising Morell's physical attributes, Andrade highlighted his good size, but pointed out a notable weakness, stating that Morell lacks precision in his punches. Andrade added, "He's a bit wild with his punches, but that comes with experience, of course."
It's tough because I haven't really watched David Morell fight by fight. I don't, to really see what he has. I seen maybe like one or two of his fights. I was like, okay, he's a big kid. He got some decent speed, but he's a little wild with his punches.
Demetrius Andrade raised questions about whether David Morell possesses the skills necessary to defeat David Benavidez. Andrade praised Benavidez, emphasizing his long reach, which makes it challenging for opponents to land punches effectively and accurately. He noted that Benavidez's arm length creates a significant advantage, complicating the task for anyone trying to break through his defense. Recalling his bout with David Benavidez, Demetrius Andrade stated, "And I am a sharpshooter, and David was able to, with his length, be able to, block a lot of the shots I was throwing at him too." Andrade advised that in order to hit Benavidez, Morell would have to hit with some clean walking trap shots.
Is he tight right now to be able, because David does have a good, his arms are long. Listen, his arms are long to me, you know what I'm saying? Morell's bigger than me, so he might have long, but when you're throwing punches at him, his arms are so long, it's so tough to hit him, especially if you're coming off wide. You got to really pinpoint the shots with David. I don't know if Morell has that in him.
Andrade commented on David Benavidez's punching power, describing it as overwhelming and referring to it as a bang. He elaborated that Benavidez's punches create a loud impact rather than a snapping sensation. Andrade noted that while Benavidez's power is undoubtedly formidable, he would not necessarily feel its full effect if he managed to block the punches.
David just has kind of like that, overwhelming power. That kind of like a bang, it's like it's more like a loud bang. It's like a bang, not like a snap,
like a thud.
But everybody has
a thudding power.
Yeah. Kind of like nothing crazy where if I'm blocking it, I'm feeling it. I'm just okay. I'm blocking it. If I got hit a few times with his. And it was just okay, whatever, cool.
Demetrius Andrade expressed enthusiasm for the matchup between David Benavidez and David Morell, stating that it's an intriguing fight because they are evenly matched in terms of physicality and size. He added, "I think David Morell is talented, but I don't know if he has the experience to actually beat David Benavidez."
Yeah, and now he's in a good matchup against David Morell. I think those are two guys that same size.
Demetrius Andrade highlighted that David Benavidez is not the type of fighter who lets up on his opponent. He emphasized that Benavidez maintains relentless pressure and doesn't give his opponent space to breathe, describing him as someone with no concept of distance in the ring, constantly closing in on his adversaries. He added, "Benavidez is on your once he starts warming up."
Maybe one or two of his fights, I was like, okay, he's a big kid. He got some decent speed, but he's a little wild with his punches. That comes with experience, of course, when he'll start tightening it up.
Fight Hub TV asked Demetrius about a potential matchup between Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez. Andrade confidently stated that Canelo would not be able to defeat Benavidez. Highlighting the size difference between the two fighters, Andrade noted that Canelo Alvarez is even smaller than himself, suggesting that this disparity would play a significant role in the fight. He added that weight and his length, and he knows how to throw punches in bunches. It's going to be a hard task for Canelo.
In this fight, given that Morell hasn't been in the type of fights that David's been, if you had to pinpoint one thing you feel that puts either or over in the fight, what would you say that would be?
Demetrius Andrade noted that David Benavidez's size and long arms make him exceptionally effective at blocking punches and defending against attacks. He emphasized that unless a fighter possesses significant punching power, they cannot effectively penetrate Benavidez's strong defensive abilities. Andrade highlighted the importance of wearing Benavidez down over time, as it's not easy to compete with his defense head-on without a strategic approach. Warning Canelo, Andrade states, "Canelo, stay away from David Benavidez. Don't do it."
His arms are long. Listen, his arms are long to me. You know what I'm saying? Morell's bigger than me, so he might have long. But when you're throwing punches at him, his arms are so long. It's so tough to hit him, especially if you're coming off wide. You got to really pinpoint the shots with David, I don't know if Morell has that in him.
Acknowledging David Benavidez as a highly competitive opponent, Demetrius Andrade emphasized that defeating him requires more than just strength. It demands sharpness, movement, and high ring IQ. He pointed out that only a fighter with the right combination of skills and strategy could overcome Benavidez's size, power, and overall prowess in the ring.
You kind of described the power of David, but like, how does it feel to get hit by him compared to other people that have hit you? Like, is his power like a snappy power or like a thudding power?
Nah, I was telling people, so when I was supposed to fight Billy Joe Saunders back in whatever 2019 or whatever, I think it was, and he got for the banned substance.
Super middleweight contender Sena Agbeko, in a conversation with YSM Sports Media, stated that if David Benavidez were a smaller fighter, he would give the advantage to David Morell in reach. However, Agbeko pointed out that both Benavidez and Morell share similar attributes in terms of height and reach. He further emphasized that both fighters throw their punches in a comparable manner, making their physical traits quite alike in this aspect as well. He added, "I think for Benavidez hasn't really also fought somebody that's, really his height."
The thing is, Benavidez was a smaller, shorter guy. I feel like maybe he would, I would give Morell the advantages in reach, and just the height, the length, and just his ability to box on the outside and keep him on the edge of his punches. But him and Benavidez have comparable, attributes in terms of reach.
Sena Agbeko pointed out that David Morell is easily hit, and given Benavidez's power, he would need to be cautious of what could happen if Benavidez lands a combination on him, emphasizing that this is a critical aspect Morell needs to watch out for in the fight.
But he's definitely very easy to be hit, and we all know, what can happen if Benavidez lands a 2-3 piece on you. So I would say that that's what he has to watch out for.
Sena Agbeko expressed his confusion over David Morell's reluctance to undergo PED testing for the Benavidez fight, suggesting that if Morell truly has nothing to hide, there should be no issue. He also pointed out that he is aware of ways Morell could potentially avoid testing, raising doubts about the situation.
For me, all of that is trumped by the fact that he doesn't want to get tested by VADA. And for me, if you have nothing to hide, hey, make it random. That's the most important thing, because I know that there are ways that they can get around it.
Agbeko shared his experience with Morell regarding PED testing. Warning Benavidez, he revealed that everyone had led him to believe that both he and David Morell were going to be tested for their fight. Agbeko explained, "As far as I know, we were both getting tested. However, when the time came for the testing, Morell and his team failed to show up." Agbeko noted that instead of following through with the testing, Morell's team cited medical issues as an excuse to avoid the fight in Las Vegas.
I was given the contract, and that was included in the contract that, okay, we're going to be tested by WADA. And actually, in the first fight that was supposed to happen in Las Vegas in April, I signed the contract and they signed it. And I was expecting WADA to actually show up and test us. And they actually never came. So it had me wonder, I was like, why did WADA never come, even though I asked for it and it was included in the contract? So why did WADA never come? And then all that was trumped by, the medical issues that they brought up and whatnot to get out of fighting in Las Vegas.
Sena Agbeko went on to explain that when the fight came around for the second time, it was the same contract, and he signed it, believing that the testing would be carried out. However, when he arrived at the venue, he was told that they would not be tested after the fight, despite his repeated inquiry.
When the fight came back around the second time, it was the same contract again, re-signed it, and I thought we were going to be tested. So we weren't tested. And so when I got to the venue, when I got to Minnesota, that was when I was like, okay, surely we're gonna get tested now, because sometimes that happens where you don't get tested during training camp, but you get tested either before the fight or immediately following the fight.
Agbeko admitted that he should have stood his ground and insisted on the testing, otherwise he would have walked away from the fight, expressing regret that he did not push for it at the time.
Flown you over to the venue and then you're like, I'm not gonna fight, but in hindsight, I probably should have stood my ground and asked for it. And I should have really insisted, hey, I was going to walk.
Kelvin Hot Sauce Henderson stated that many fighters in the sport are cheating, and implied that fighters like Morell may be using drugs that enhance recovery. It does not necessarily help them become faster or stronger, but it helps them recover.
Situation possible. So a lot of these guys are cheating during count. When I say cheating, like maybe taking something that makes them recover faster. So it doesn't necessarily make them stronger or faster, but it makes them recover quicker. So they're getting back into the gym doing harder reps.
He added, where everybody else is tired, sore, or injured from training the day before, they are feeling refreshed, ready to go.
It is very, very ratatouille that I'm not the only one with the exact same story when they fight David Morell. You know what I mean?
Former American pro boxer Walter "Buddy" McGirt shared his thoughts on the upcoming bout, stating that it would be an intriguing match. He believes both David Morell and David Benavidez will be thoroughly tested in their skills during this fight, making it a highly competitive contest. Praising Benavidez, McGirt stated, "You know Benavidez. It takes him a few rounds to really get going, but once he figures out your rhythm, you got problems."
I think it's going to be an interesting fight, man. I think that both guys are really going to be tested because, Morell's a good boxer. But I think that the later rounds is really going to tell.
Buddy McGirt praised David Morell for his southpaw style, noting that he boxes very well. He highlighted that with the guidance of trainer Ronnie Shields, Morell will be fully prepared for the fight. McGirt predicted that the first 4 to 5 rounds would play out like a chess match, with the real action intensifying after the 5th round, when both fighters will truly test each other's skills. He added, "After the 5th round, somebody is going to get somebody figured out, and that's when it's going to get hot in the kitchen." Buddy McGirt believes that at this moment, David Morell does not seem intimidated by David Benavidez. He speculates that Morell may feel confident going into the fight, but acknowledges that the dynamic could change once he feels Benavidez's power. According to McGirt, it's possible that once Morell takes a few hits from Benavidez, his perspective on the fight might shift, as the impact of Benavidez's punches could change the course of the battle.
I believe he's not. Now, what happens when he gets touched, I don't know. But I think that, you know what I mean? But I think that right now, I don't think he's scared of him, no.
David Benavidez, in his interview with FightHype.com, discussed his thoughts on the press conferences and his interactions with David Morell. While acknowledging the importance of respect, Benavidez explained that hearing Morell repeatedly claim he would dominate or defeat him only served to fuel his motivation. He noted that such bold statements naturally impacted his mindset, adding extra drive and determination as he prepared to face Morell in the ring. Benavidez emphasized that these remarks had a psychological effect, pushing him to be even more focused and ready to prove his superiority.
This fight is funny, bro, because at the end of the day, this is boxing. You know what I mean? Respect only takes you so far. But once you hear somebody saying over and over again, they're going to beat you, they're going to f you up, they're going to knock you out, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, that kind of does something to you, especially since I'm already going to get in there and fight him.
David Benavidez recalled his first interaction with David Morell at their initial press conference, reflecting on how it marked the moment when tensions began to rise between the two fighters. Benavidez explained that during the event, he refrained from speaking negatively about Morell and even showed him respect. After the press conference, Morell approached him with an offer of a handshake and a hug, which Benavidez interpreted as a sign of mutual respect. However, Benavidez made it clear that they left things at that, acknowledging that the respect was shown but not allowing it to go further, as both fighters understood the seriousness of the upcoming bout.
The press conference, the first one, that's the first time it got heated up. I didn't really talk bad about David Morell before that. I kind of give him his respect. But after the press conference, you guys didn't see that. He came up to me, he gave me a hug, he shook my hand. So I was like, oh, well, this is probably what it's going to be. We're probably just going to sell this fight. He doesn't seem like he's trying to talk shit or come disrespectful, so whatever. We left it at that.
Reflecting on the first press conference, David Benavidez explained that he arrived in a calm and relaxed mood, intending to keep things respectful. He mentioned that it was his birthday, so he approached the event with a composed mindset. However, he noted that despite offering a respectful handshake, Morell attempted to make him look foolish in front of everyone, which left Benavidez feeling surprised and angry, so he pushed him. He added, "When I do that to someone, that means I am ready for whatever. All respect is out the window, but it's better because that's this fight should be." David Benavidez confidently stated that David Morell is 100% scared of him, accusing Morell of looking for a way out of their fight. Benavidez pointed to Morell's actions at the press conference, claiming that when Morell threw his belt at him, it was a deliberate attempt to cause trouble. He suggested that Morell knew if the belt hit him and caused a cut, it could potentially delay their fight, further demonstrating his alleged fear. He added, Morell aimed at my head too. He didn't try to miss." David Benavidez stated that ever since their first face-off, he could sense fear in David Morell. He elaborated by explaining that he has been in the game for a long time, and Morell's behavior only amplified his confidence. Benavidez acknowledged that Morell's actions were drawing more attention to the fight, which made the upcoming clash even more intriguing. Benavidez made it clear that he felt in control, both mentally and physically, and that Morell's nerves were only adding to his own motivation.
I sense the fear now. I've been doing this for a long time. And also the same thing with this one. Like I said, be careful what you ask for because I might be there to give it to you. And but at the end of the day, this just makes for a better fight.
Boxing trainer and coach Stephen Edwards spoke with FightHype.com about the upcoming fight between David Morell and David Benavidez, expressing that Morell certainly has the potential to win. However, Edwards was cautious about predicting the outcome, acknowledging that while Morell possesses the skills to compete, it remains uncertain whether he can secure a victory against such a formidable opponent like Benavidez. Edwards emphasized that the fight would truly test Morell's abilities and highlighted the challenges of facing someone with Benavidez's strength and experience.
This is a fight that David Morell can win, but I don't know if he will.
Ex-CEO of Mayweather Promotions Leonard Ellerbe commented that the matchup between Benavidez and Morell will be an excellent fight. He emphasized that both fighters' styles will mesh well, which could make for an exciting and competitive bout. Ellerbe fully expects the fight to last into the middle or later rounds. He added, "I don't think it'll go the distance." In conclusion, the upcoming fight between David Benavidez and David Morell promises to be a captivating matchup, with both fighters bringing distinct skills and attributes to the table. Experts like Demetrius Andrade and Buddy McGirt highlight the strategic challenges each fighter will face, from Benavidez's overwhelming size and power to Morell's technical southpaw style. With high stakes and differing opinions on what it takes to win, this contest will undoubtedly test both men's abilities and resilience in the ring. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit the like button and share the video with a fellow boxing fan who would appreciate the insights on this exciting matchup. Whether you're backing Benavidez or rooting for Morell, this fight is one that every boxing enthusiast should be following closely. For more updates, analysis, and the latest boxing news, make sure to subscribe to Boxism. We bring you the latest action from the ring, with every punch telling a story that you won't want to miss.